You had a thought yesterday after we had left about pro-life and CPAC. What were you thinking about that?
Well, I was talking to you yesterday. You mentioned how all of the leaders of the conservative movement, the speakers who are here, what they can do to help the pro-life movement, help Students for Life, to make abortion an issue. And, I talked about them needing to actually drive that home during the elections and to make it an issue in the media. But I think that the whole concept goes both ways. And I also want to challenge all of the pro-life groups out there to come here to CPAC. And it's not just that CPAC needs to invite more pro-life speakers and more, pro-life panels and, spotlight the issue, but the pro-lifers need to buy a table here, be a co-sponsor, be an exhibitor, and have tables here. If we had an entire row of pro-life tables, it would even out the atmosphere here. And we need to talk about the economy and foreign policy, but life is also an important issue. But I don't think that CPAC is going to blockade all the pro-life groups from having a table here. They don't. I mean, we're allowed to be here, and it's you, and I know Chris Slattery's here, SBA's here, and we're here. But aside from that, I don't think there's a lot of representation of the major pro-life groups. So, I want to challenge all of the other major, pro-life groups to come here, to get in touch with the students. I know that the student population here is vastly pro-life, and they love seeing our information and learning about the internships at a pro-life organization. So there's a huge crowd here that you can speak to. So it goes both ways, and I want to say next year I hope to see several pro-life organizations have tables here and to get out in a clipboard and advertise to these students because they really are hungry for that message.
Well, that sounds good. And, we've got Radio Row, and like you say, why not Pro-Life Row?
Right. We should have several, we should have all kinds of pro-life radio there and pro-life media. And, you're here, obviously, but we need to flood this place so that it's not so unevenly balanced on the issues. We need to come here and make ourselves heard. If they're not going to invite us, let's just
Definitely.
be here.
I agree. And one thing I'd like to add to that is that the way I sort of perceive this is that there's pro-life sort of lives inside a little bubble, and then the rest of the world is outside of that bubble. And I think a lot of pro-life doesn't understand that we're kind of preaching to the crowd a lot, and we haven't done our job to get outside of the bubble, and everything outside of the bubble is right here, isn't it?
Right. And there's also arguments to be had here, too. There's some students who are conservative, but they've never talked about the pro-life issue. They've never talked about abortion. And there's a lot of souls to be reached here as well, and so we're having good discussions that way. And I've been hearing that some of the older folks here, are undecided on the issue. So there's actually debates to be had here. I know that all the pro-life groups go to the family value summits and things like that, but those people are already pro-life. And so those people are involved, and they already know, what's needed. And a lot of the students here don't know where they can fit in with the pro-life movement and vice versa. So I think that it's needed here, and it's also welcoming, so I think that's a really good combination. It's very fertile ground for the pro-life movement.
That sounds good. There's a lot of folks here that are, in the sense we might be preaching to the choir as far as the people who are more likely to believe what we believe, but there are thousands of people who stream through here at CPAC that are waiting for our message, and if we're not here to give it out, they're just going right on by. So it's a good thing you're here.
Yeah, and the college Republicans, they go back to campus and they have all this information on what they can do on foreign policy and the economy, but not enough about how to do a cemetery of the innocents. And we want our college Republican groups and the groups like that too on our campuses that do tend to be more friendly to, the pro-life groups and the, causes like that do fit well together. We want them to go back to their campus and have a wealth of information about our cause and our information so they can do that too. And we say, what can the conservatives do for us? Well, what can we do for them? So it's, we got to work together there. And it does happen to be, a wing of politics that does happen to be more friendly. So we need to definitely go in and mine that territory and see what more we can do together.
All right. And again, how do people find out where you are?
www.studentsforlife.org, and we have tons of resources on that website. I encourage everyone to check that out.
Great. Thank you, Becky.
Thank you very much. Thanks.